Hello, I'm Paola Ranova, and today we're going to talk about crystals, demystifying crystals to be more specific, which will make our lives so much lighter. It brings so much relief, right? Because in the crystal world, in the energy world, there's so much fear often. There's a lot of superstition. There's a lot of misunderstanding. Sometimes we don't have enough information or the proper training. So a lot of things get misaligned. So what we're going to do in this video is bring 3 healthy attitudes about crystals and talk about 3 myths, so to speak. But before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and to share it with people that you know are going to benefit from this content. Don't forget to comment how you felt about the video here and to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, right? You can hit the notification button, that little bell, and then you will know exactly when we have new content for you. So all that being said, what are the 3 myths that we're going to dissolve here and bring 3 healthy attitudes about it? First thing, we do not command crystals. And just so you understand, this is in the Cardinal Method perspective. The Cardinal Method is a system I developed. And one of the reasons why I developed the Cardinal Method is because I did not agree with a lot of things that are said about crystals in books, in videos. There's so much out there. And I don't mean to disqualify any perspective. It's just that there are different ways of seeing crystals, and this is the Cardinal Method way of seeing them. So the first myth, right, is that, oh, if I command this crystal to do what I want, it's going to obey me. There's so much behind this kind of perspective or mindset because, first of all, there is something in our culture, right? The human mind, not just our culture, there are many cultures that have this mindset. The human experience has a lot to do with duality, me versus them, or I command something or someone. So that kind of enslaves the crystals, so to speak, and that's not how we see it in the Cardinal Method. We don't command crystals to do what we want. They have specific attributes. They have specific natural programming from nature, not from any human mind, that are what we call in the Cardinal Method consciousness reminders. So if you want to connect to love, well-being, health, discernment, clarity, fulfillment, each crystal is going to bring a specific attribute that's going to awaken a specific kind of consciousness within you. So we have all the light within as potential, and most of it is dormant in a lot of us. What the crystals do is awaken a divine consciousness within you, a virtue, whatever it is that you need in the present moment. So you don't command crystals in the Cardinal Method. They cooperate with you. They have intrinsic attributes that are here to help us. So it's a whole different perspective. It's a very, very specific relationship you have with them in the Cardinal Method world, right? So what a relief this is. We're not commanding crystals at all. They're just who they are. They're doing their thing. They have their own consciousness. They have a specific alignment within, in the microscopic level. If you see a crystal in a microscope, they have specific geometries and alignments of the molecules that will align your field and make you feel better. So it's so much lighter than commanding crystals to do what you want, right? That's how I see it, and that's how the Cardinal Method sees it. That's the perspective of the Cardinal Method. People who are Cardinal Method practitioners are very aware of this, right? So that's number 1. The first thing I wanted to talk about in this video. Number 2 is that we do not own crystals, so don't get attached to them. I call them rolling stones. So they do what they want to do. They are with you right now. All these crystals that you see here, they're with me, and I feel so blessed. It's so awesome. But I don't own them. And your crystals is the same thing. They're with you right now. Maybe you want to give them away. Maybe you want to donate them. Maybe you want to give them as a present. You know, maybe you want to sell them. Each crystal has their own path, and they choose to be with us for a specific period of time. Maybe they'll break. It's part of their journey. So it really is about seeing all beings of nature as equals, and we're not in a superior position compared to crystals. That's how we see it also in the Cardinal Method. Don't get attached to crystals. You don't own them. They're rolling stones. They're with you for the time being. They choose to go somewhere else, and you just flow with it. And that makes your life so much more fun and lighter as well, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, I believe this is the most important one that I need to dive into, is that crystals cannot cause harm on their own. There's so much superstition, oh, obsidians, be afraid of them. Crystals do not have intrinsic evil within them. The thing is, yes, there's something called divine proportion, which is a huge concept in the Cardinal Method. The amount of energy in a crystal, the size of the crystal is important. The color of the crystal is important. Depending on the size of the environment you're in, too many crystals bundled together, that can be intense. So it has to do with how much knowledge you have about crystals so that you can respect the divine proportion principle to be with them. But it's not about causing harm or evil. Okay? Harm and evil exist in the human mind. So we did talk about commanding crystals or even programming them. Crystals have an intrinsic programming from nature. It's not a human mind. It's their natural essence, is who they are. So they do have specific attributes. And depending on what you want to develop within you, what you want to encourage in yourself, you're going to use this or that stone. That's great. But if some human being programs the crystal to cause harm, the harm is not in the crystal, it's in the human mind that created that situation. Is that making sense? So don't blame the crystal for it. And let me tell you something that is so important too. Crystals have a very high vibrational frequency. So if a human being that is identified with cruelty in the moment, because in our soul journeys, people make choices, right? And yes, there are some people who have ill intentions, and you should be mindful of that. Know how to protect yourself with your mind as well. And if you set your mind to this programming of your own energy field that you are immune to evil, to envy, to spite, sometimes people are unconsciously emanating energies that are not that great. They may be envious, or they may be, spiteful, whatever. Maybe it's not even conscious. Sometimes it is, and those are the cruel people who are choosing to be cruel in that moment in their lives. It will change in the future, right? No one can stay or stand a state of duality for too long, even if it takes lifetimes. But anyway, what I'm saying is that crystals on their own do not cause harm. There are many people who may be using crystals to emanate from their minds and evil energy, but the moment it touches the crystal can realign that energy and make it softer because they have such high vibrations. They do not have intrinsic evil energy at all or cruel energy, and they will make it softer than if it were the human just emanating from his or her own mind. The crystal can neutralize that energy. So there you go, right? The more you know about crystals, the more relief you have. Knowledge does free us so much, right? If you have the proper training and you have enough knowledge, you can feel so much better, and fear is not going to trap you anymore. One of the best antidotes to fear is knowledge, right? And investing in your brain power and also your trainings. So crystals do not cause any harm. The human mind does. If a human mind chooses to use a crystal to program the crystal for something that's not in alignment with the highest good, the crystal will neutralize that on its own, and it's not the crystal's fault. And if it reaches your field, you'll have the discernment to know, oh, that's not good for me. I am immune to negativity and to conscious and unconscious emanations of misaligned energy, So it just brings relief to you, right? When you understand on a deeper level how energy works, because energy is a science. It can be mathematically measured. So these are the 3 myths that I wanted to bring to you, 3 ways to demystify crystals. What are the 3 healthy attitudes? Knowing you don't command crystals, that they cooperate with you. So the attitude of cooperation and the attitude of knowing that we're all equal and that we are together in this journey, not commanding each other. It just brings unity instead of duality, right? The second attitude, not owning crystals. They're not your property. They're with you, keeping you company. So that's, again, another healthy attitude that just brings lightness and relief to your life, I believe, right? You don't get attached. You don't feel possessive. And the third one is knowing that crystals don't harm you. They do not harm you just because they are whatever superstitious energy people believe that they have, right? That dark crystals are not good and this or that. That's just not true. All crystals are beautiful, sacred, and come from nature and bring specific consciousness to us. Consciousness reminders of our virtues. They help us awaken our virtues within. They never cause harm. And knowing this, crystals don't cause harm. The human mind does. And the more aware you are, the more you develop your consciousness, the more you're able to create an energetic immune system, so no harm will ever come to you. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope it was useful. Please share this with people that you know are going to benefit from this content, that may be a little jittery about their relationship with crystals or with fear and superstition in the energy world. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, to like the video, and comment your experience here. It's going to be amazing to know how you felt about this content. We're going to be doing more videos about this, demystifying crystals and other things in the energy world. And I will see you soon.